Celebrities may seem perfect, but they are human too. Sometimes they lose control in public and the world watches. What is for credits? I don't know what that means to play us out. What does that mean? Anger? Frustration? Or just a bad day? Their reactions can be shocking. You are like the carrot top of interviewers. Let's look at some of the craziest moments when celebrities couldn't hold back. Blake. Lively check your baby bump, remarked Norwegian journalist Kasti Flaw in 2024 shared an old interview from 2016 calling it, she said, it was one of the most uncomfortable experiences of her career. The interview happened while Blake was promoting her movie Cafe Society. At that time she had just announced her pregnancy at the Met Gala. Kirsty started by saying, first of all, congrats on your little bump. But Blake didn't seem happy and replied, first of all, congrats on your little bump. Congrats on your little bump. Even though Kirsty wasn't pregnant, this made Kirsty feel awkward, especially because she was struggling with infertility at the time. Later, Kirsty asked about the film's costumes, but Blake responded, everybody wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes. This made things even more uncomfortable when Kirsty uploaded the interview years later. Many people online criticized Blake for being rude. Others defended her, saying pregnancy is a personal topic, and that Kirsty's comment might have felt too private. Vin Diesel during a press tour for XXX, Return of Xander Cage. Actor Vin Diesel in 2016 participated in an interview with Brazilian YouTuber and journalist Carol Moreira. The interview gained attention due to Diesel's behavior, which many perceived as unprofessional and discomforting for Moreira. Throughout the interview, Diesel frequently interrupted Moreira to comment on her appearance. At one point, he exclaimed, God, she's so beautiful, man, am I right or wrong? Look at her, how am I supposed to do this interview? Look at this woman. Moreira attempted to get the conversation back to the film and Diesel's career, but Diesel was somewhere else. He added, when did this turn into a beautiful world? When did this turn into the most gorgeous girl in Brazil? When did this happen? Moreira tried to maintain professionalism and continue with her questions. However, Diesel's repeated comments and attempts to divert the interview made it challenging. Following the interview, Moreira addressed the situation in a video posted to her YouTube channel. She expressed that while she had admired Diesel's work, his behavior during the interview made her uncomfortable. Jesse Eisenberg's awkward interview that left a host in tears. In 2013, actor Jesse Eisenberg sat down for an interview with Univision host Romina Puga to promote his movie Now You See Me. What should have been a simple press interview quickly turned into one of the cringiest and most uncomfortable celebrity moments ever. Roina Puga was trying to keep the interview light and fun, but Jesse Eisenberg's attitude made things awkward from the start. He was sarcastic, impatient, and even rude, making it clear that he wasn't in the mood for the usual press tour questions. Things took a turn for the worse when Romina referred to the film's co-star Morgan Freeman by just his last name. Jesse mocked her, saying, Freeman, who are you? Yeah, Freeman, yeah, what are you on a baseball team with him? The way he said it made her feel embarrassed, but instead of moving on, Jesse kept pushing it, making her more uncomfortable. At one point, Romina tried to make a joke, calling Jesse a carrot top because of his curly hair, but Jesse didn't take it well and snapped back saying, you were like the carrot top of interviewers. His tone was sharp and it didn't feel playful, it felt attacked. Romina later wrote a blog post about the experience, calling it self-esteem butchering and saying she left the interview feeling humiliated. She said Jesse's attitude made her feel small and disrespected, and that it was one of her worst experiences as a host. Jennifer Lawrence's awkward moment with a journalist at the 2016 Golden Globes. In January 2016, Jennifer Lawrence won a Golden Globe for Best Actress for her role in Joy. After her big win, she attended a press conference where she had an awkward exchange with a journalist that quickly became controversial. During the press conference, an international journalist who is not a native English speaker began asking Jennifer a question while looking at his phone before he could finish. Jennifer cut him off and said, we're at the Golden Globes, if you put your phone down you'd know that. Ben Affleck's bored and rude interview with Sarah Ferguson. In 2023, Ben Affleck sat down for an interview with Sarah Ferguson. The interview should have been a serious and professional conversation, but according to Ferguson, Ben's attitude made it one of the worst interviews she had ever done. A year later, in 2024, Ferguson did not hold back when speaking to the Sydney Morning Herald Sunday Life magazine about the experience. It wasn't only white people that worked at this company and who were relevant to this story, and I didn't want to make that story from the moment the interview started. He barely made eye contact, often looking away or down as if he couldn't be bothered to engage. When Ferguson asked questions, Ben gave short, uninspired answers, making it clear that he had no enthusiasm for the discussion, instead of making an effort to at least appear engaged. He acted like the whole thing was a chore. The fact that Ferguson still remembered the interview a year later and spoke about it so openly showed just how uncomfortable the experience was for her. Jennifer Garner corrects Conan O'Brien's grammar on live TV. In 2003, actress Jennifer Garner appeared on Late Night with Conan O'Brien to promote her show Alias. Everything was going smoothly until she suddenly paused the interview to correct Conan's grammar. During the conversation, Jennifer was telling a story when he used the phrase snuck in. He said, "Oh, snuck in, huh?" At that moment, Jennifer stopped and corrected him, saying, "Snook isn't a word, Conan, you should say sneaked." She said it very seriously, as if she was teaching him a lesson. Snuck isn't a word. Conan, and you went to Harvard. And you should know that. Conan looked shocked and confused, but he quickly laughed it off and went along with it. But later, instead of letting it go, he checked with his team and found out snook is actually a real word. When he realized this, he started celebrating and jokingly teased Jennifer for trying to correct him. Jennifer, clearly embarrassed, laughed and admitted defeat. I just got schooled, she said, covering her face. Look right here. Snuck past and past part of sneak. When Jack Whittle called out by audience member on The Graham Norton Show, comedian Jack Whittle in 2019 had the rare opportunity to guest host The Graham Norton Show. While Graham was away, everything was going smoothly until an unexpected moment turned the spotlight back on him. During the show, Jack noticed a familiar face in the audience. A woman who had been on the show before. He greeted her with his usual energy, but her response caught him completely off guard. Instead of just saying hello, she immediately called him out in front of everyone. Oh, you remember me last time? You were really rude to me for that night, really did not like my story, and he was rather rude. Look how Jack's face froze for a second. He let out a nervous laugh, but the woman wasn't done. She continued, and you apologized, but clearly I haven't let it go. At this point, Jack was shifting uncomfortably in his seat.
Oh my God.
It's me. His usual wit failed him for a moment, and instead of taking control of the situation, he was genuinely flustered. After a while he said, I'm being haunted by my past mistakes. This is my villain origin story. The tension was over soon, but it was obvious for a brief moment that he had completely lost control of the interview. Charlie Sheen's 2011 ABC interview about tiger blood and Adonis DNA. In 2011, actor Charlie Sheen sat down for an interview with ABC News, and what followed was one of the most chaotic TV moments ever. At the time, Charlie had just been fired from 2.5 Men after clashing with the show's producers and making controversial statements, but instead of staying quiet, he went on a media tour giving interviews that left people shocked. During the ABC interview, Charlie Sheen spoke with extreme confidence, making wild statements. Some of the most famous moments included tiger blood. Charlie claimed that he was different from regular people, saying he had tiger blood running through his veins, Adonis DNA. He compared himself to Adonis, the Greek god of beauty and desire. I'm not bipolar, I'm by winning. When the interviewer asked if he was bipolar, Charlie dismissed it completely, saying he wasn't struggling, he was just winning all the time. Can't is the cancer if happened. He started speaking in strange dramatic phrases, acting as if he was on a higher level of thinking than everyone else. People made remixes about its psychological distress, oh my God, throughout the interview. Charlie spoke quickly and moved his hands a lot, looking intense and unpredictable. His eyes were wide, and his expressions kept switching between confidence, excitement, and frustration. At times he seemed aggressive in proving his points, laughing at questions and brushing off concerns about his mental state people were worried about. Charlie, with many believing he was having a mental breakdown or struggling with substance abuse. Bill O'Reilly's Will Do It Live meltdown. One of the most infamous TV outbursts happened when news anchor Bill O'Reilly completely lost his temper over a teleprompter issue. This meltdown happened while Bill O'Reilly was recording the closing segment for Inside Edition in the 1990s. It was supposed to be a simple sign-off where he read from the teleprompter and smoothly ended the show, but then for 8